Good morning, everyone. Dave Cap. Okay. So before I get started, two things. One is I always want to give a shout out to my board chair, Steve Pace. Largely, I'm here because of him. So shout out to Steve. I need the East Alabama Chamber to settle a domestic dispute. My wife and I are arguing about a particular thing. This has nothing to do with my presentation. I just need you to agree with me. You've heard of a ham sandwich, correct? You've heard of a turkey sandwich, salami sandwich, roast beef sandwich. How many of you would define a hot dog as a sandwich? Does anyone think that a hot dog is a sandwich? When you put it in a bun, is the hot dog in a bun a sandwich? Yes? How many yeses? How many no's? Okay. Which one am I? I'm in between. So this morning, I appreciate Dennis inviting me. A few weeks ago, I presented for the Rotary and talked about the Phenix City Housing Authority, but I really didn't talk about the Phenix City Housing Authority. And so Dennis reached out and wanted me to continue the theme of that presentation this morning. So I will share information about the Phenix City Housing Authority, but I really want to address some other matters as it relates to the work that we do there. So factually, the Phenix City Housing Authority, we manage about 821 units of apartments. We have about 959 or so vouchers, commonly referred to as Section 8. So a person has a voucher, they can live anywhere. Just by way of a brief update, I think a street over or so is 20th Street. We're building a property or a family complex called Liberty Hill, which will be 6 buildings with 12 units and 72 total units, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, of a cost of about $10.5 million. So those are some, especially Liberty Hill, very exciting things. But that's not what I really want to talk to you about this morning. What I want to talk to you about this morning is a story that you've all heard before. It may have been a while, but you've heard this story from Charles Wing. The story of the engine that thought it could. In a certain railroad yard, there stood an extremely heavy train that had to be drawn up at an unusually heavy grade before it could reach its destination. The superintendent of the yard was not sure what it was best for him to do, so he went up to a large, strong engine and asked, "Can you pull that train over the hill?" "It is a heavy train," responded the engine. He then went to another great engine and asked, "Can you pull the train over the hill?" "It is a very heavy grade," he replied. The superintendent was much puzzled, but he turned to still another engine that was spick and span new and asked it, "Can you pull that train over the hill?" "I think I can," responded the engine. So the order was circulated and the engine was started back so that it might be coupled with the train. As it went along, the rails, it kept repeating to itself, "I think I can. I think I can. I think I can." The coupling was made, and the engine began its journey. And all along the level, as it rolled toward the ascent, it kept repeating to itself, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Higher and higher it climbed, and its voice grew fainter, and its words came slower. I think I can. I think. And it was almost to the top. I think and it arrived to the top. It passed over the top of the hill and began crawling down the opposite slope. I think I can. I can. I thought I could. I thought I could. I thought I could. And singing triumphant, it rushed down toward the valley. Just keep in mind, I think I can. There is a seminal work by James Allen, and the book is entitled As a Man Thinketh. And Mr. Allen states, and I quote, "They themselves are makers of themselves," end of quote. By virtue of the thoughts which an individual chooses and is encouraged. The wise man in the book of Proverbs, 23rd chapter and 7th verse, put it this way: "For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." So the primary objective of the Phenix City Housing Authority is to provide safe and affordable, quality housing free from discrimination and centered on customer service while providing opportunities for economic independence. The work of the Phenix City Housing Authority is to change. Now, the first part of what I just mentioned is our mission. But our work is to change people's beliefs or their thoughts. Psychology reveals that there is power in people's beliefs. You remember the famous quote by Henry Ford, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." So changing beliefs can have a significant effect on an individual. Many of us have had role models as we were growing up, someone who pointed the way at a critical moment in our lives and helped us to adopt a view of ourselves. There is one person that you talk to more than anyone else. Does anyone know who that is? Yourself. You frame what you present to the world, whether that's success or something that is not as successful. It's all about the narrative or the story that you're telling yourself. So it's critical that we impact and help individuals create a self-narrative that takes them from poverty to prosperity. Dr. Carol DeWick, who wrote a book called Mindset, argues that there are two mindsets. There is a fixed mindset, and the fixed mindset is just simply believing that your qualities are carved in stone. And then she also advocates for a second mindset, which she calls a growth mindset. The belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your efforts. So if mindsets are beliefs, then our job is not only to provide a roof, but our job is to change a mindset. Ruby Payne, in her famous work, Bridges Out of Poverty, outlines how people in different classes think about certain things. So in a poverty mindset, a person thinking about money, they think that money is to be used, is to be spent. If you're middle class, she suggests that money is to be managed. But if you're wealthy, it's to be conserved and invested. If you have a poverty mindset, when you think about food, you think about, did you get enough? Did you get enough food? If you're middle class, you think, did you like it? Was it good? Well, if you're wealthy, you think, what was the presentation like? And that's where, you pay a lot of money for this one little plant, this little piece in the middle of a plate with nice squiggly lines. I'm not suggesting one is better than the other. I'm suggesting that we think differently. Lastly, education. Poverty, she suggests that it's valued, it's revered, but it's an abstract type of thing in terms of education. It's not a reality. Middle class, it's crucial, education is, for climbing the success ladder and for making money. If you're wealthy, it's necessary tradition for making and maintaining connections. So in our community of Phenix City, approximately 5% of our residents use the services of the Phenix City Housing Authority. It is our responsibility to provide housing, but our greater mission is to impact their belief system. So the Phenix City Housing Authority has to impact the minds of the residents to help them believe, I can learn. I can have a skill. I can graduate from high school. I can graduate from college. I can graduate from the community college. I can secure gainful employment. I can go to work and be on time every day. I can give a full 8 hours. I can save money. I can get a car. I can live in unsubsidized housing. These are the beliefs. This is the challenge of our work, because if we can change the way that they think, we can improve the quality of their life, and they become a greater contributor to the community of Phenix City. Ladies and gentlemen, human capital, this is my community side of what I used to do in city government. But human capital is the greatest asset of any community. When speaking of human capital, it is the abilities and skills that workers hold that affect their productivity. It may be broadly defined to include labor, market skills, leadership skills, general education background, artistic development and appreciation, health, and other skills and experience. Our goal, Phenix City Housing Authority, is to transition individuals from public housing to market rate housing, helping them to secure the skills necessary to compete for jobs and opportunities in our community. It is not enough to simply offer a program. We must find the key that touches their souls. Because if I can't touch their soul, we can offer a program all day long, they won't attend. So we have to touch them in a way where we can get them to believe, like that little engine, that they can. So I leave you this morning with a quote from James Allen in the book As a Man Thinketh. And he stated, "A man's mind may be likened unto a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds fall therein and will continue to produce after their kind." So I implore you, I ask for your help and your support as we seek to one by one touch the thousands of residents of our community so that we can change them in terms of their thinking, that they can believe and will believe that they can accomplish anything that they put their hearts to. Thank you for this time this morning. God bless.